Once upon a time, in the heart of Africa, there existed two contrasting worlds, the sprawling human kingdoms of wealth and power, and the mystical hidden realm of the dwarves. The human kingdom was ruled by wealthy families, their palaces gilded with gold and ivory, but within their walls brewed jealousy, greed, and betrayal. The dwarf kingdom, on the other hand, was an enchanting land deep in the forest, protected by ancient magic. Its entrance lay hidden behind a shimmering portal that no human could cross unnoticed. The dwarves were tiny but mighty, guardians of ancient secrets and wielders of unmatched mystical powers. In one of the human kingdoms, a wealthy merchant named Obina lived with his beautiful wife and their daughter Nena. Obina adored Nena, not only because she was his only child, but also because she was the spitting image of her late mother, who had passed away shortly after giving birth to her. Nena's bright eyes and warm smile filled Obina with bittersweet joy, a reminder of his lost love. But when Obina remarried, his new wife, Adaku, became consumed with jealousy. She loathed how Obina's heart overflowed with love for Nena. Adaku's resentment festered, growing darker with each passing day. She couldn't bear the sight of Nena, her innocence, her beauty, her father's affection for her. In her twisted mind, Adaku believed that if Nena were gone, Obina would finally love her the way she craved. One moonless night, Adaku crept into Nena's room. The child, barely 5, was fast asleep, clutching a small doll her father had given her. With her heart racing and her intentions cruel, Adaku wrapped the girl in a thick cloth, muffling her cries, and carried her deep into the forest. The forest was feared by everyone in the kingdom. It was said to be a place of wild animals, wandering spirits, and ancient curses. But Adaku didn't care. She placed Nena on the forest floor, her tiny body trembling with fear and confusion. Without a second glance, Adaku turned and ran, leaving the child to what she thought would be a certain death. But fate had other plans. In the depths of the forest, beyond where any human dared to tread, lay the hidden portal to the mystical dwarf kingdom. That night, as the wind howled and the trees whispered ancient secrets, a figure emerged from the shadows, a dwarf, old and bent with age but carrying the wisdom of centuries. His name was Chukuma, a guardian of the portal and one of the eldest in the kingdom. Chukuma's keen ears caught the faint cries of a child. Following the sound, he found Nena shivering and alone, her tear-streaked face a portrait of despair. His heart softened. Though dwarves rarely intervened in human matters, Chukuma couldn't leave the child to die. With a wave of his gnarled staff, he opened the portal and carried Nena into the dwarf kingdom. The dwarf kingdom was a sight to behold. Lush fields of glowing plants, rivers of silver water, and huts carved into towering mushrooms. Though small in stature, the dwarves had built a grand civilization hidden from the prying eyes of humans. They lived by strict rules, one of which forbade humans from entering their world. Yet Chukwuma presented the child to the dwarf council, pleading her case. "She is innocent," he said, "abandoned by her own kind. If we do not help her, who will?" After much deliberation, the council agreed. Nena was allowed to stay, and over the years, she grew up among the dwarves, learning their ways, their magic, and their wisdom. She became their beloved child, though she never stopped dreaming of the father she barely remembered. Meanwhile, back in the human kingdom, Obina was inconsolable. When he discovered Nena was missing, he searched tirelessly, combing through villages, offering rewards and consulting every seer and oracle he could find. Adaku feigned ignorance, pretending to share in his grief while secretly relishing her supposed success. Years passed, but Obina never gave up. One day, a wandering seer arrived in the kingdom. The old man, with eyes like burning coals, approached Obina and spoke in a voice that sent chills down his spine. "Your daughter lives," the seer said, "but she is beyond the veil of the human world. To find her, you must enter the forest and seek the portal to the dwarf kingdom. Beware, for their world is not easily entered, and their trust is not easily earned." Desperate but determined, Obina set out. Armed with nothing but his love for his daughter, he braved the forbidden forest, navigating its dangers until he found the shimmering portal. As he stepped through, a great bell tolled in the dwarf kingdom. The sound echoed across the land, sending every dwarf scurrying into their mushroom-shaped huts. It was a sound they hadn't heard in years, a warning that an intruder, a human, had entered their realm. Nena, now a young woman, watched the commotion from the window of Chukwuma's hut. When she saw the tall figure striding through the glowing fields, something deep within her stirred. She didn't know why, but the sight of the man filled her with an inexplicable longing. The dwarves, wary of the intruder, surrounded Obinna with their weapons drawn. But before they could act, Nena stepped forward. "Wait!" she cried. "Who are you? And why have you come here?" Obinna's voice trembled as he spoke. "I am a father searching for his lost child. Years ago, my daughter was taken from me. I have crossed forests and rivers seeking her. I have nothing left to offer but my love and my life. Please, if you know where she is, let me see her." Nena's heart pounded. Could it be true? Slowly she approached him, her eyes searching his face. And then she saw it, the locket around his neck, an identical match to the one she had kept all these years. "Papa," she whispered. Obinna fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Nena, is it you?" Their reunion was a moment of pure joy, but it wasn't without challenges. The Dwarf Council demanded an explanation for Obinna's intrusion and deliberated on whether to let Nena leave their kingdom. Chukwuma, who had become like a father to Nena, spoke on their behalf. "This man's love for his child is pure. It is rare to see such devotion among humans. Let them be reunited. It is the right thing to do." Reluctantly, the council agreed. Nena bid a tearful farewell to the dwarves, thanking them for their kindness and promising never to forget them. Back in the human kingdom, Nena's return was met with shock and joy. But Adaku's wicked deeds could not remain hidden. Overwhelmed by guilt and fear, she confessed to her crime. The villagers, outraged, demanded justice, and Adaku was banished from the kingdom. The moral lesson of this story is that true love and persistence can overcome even the darkest trials, while jealousy and cruelty only lead to destruction.